This week's vlog has two parts. First, we finished recording the shipwrecks, and secondly, we went on a dive on the recently wrecked McGreef. Firstly, on the shipwrecks. As you know, the last thing we had to record there was wreck number 3, a small dinghy which sits in about 12 meters of water. We weren't able to record it on the last few dives because of problems with motion blur. This time we went and tried exposure compensation and video recording, but they still didn't work. However, after all the video runs failed to produce a result, Kevin spent some time editing one in Adobe Camera Raw. He set the white balance using the white section of the scale bar and cropped the curves to boost details in the shadows and to remove highlights. Using 5 frames a second with these enhancements, he was able to get all 1059 images to align into a very solid model. We know low light is going to be a problem, especially on some of the deeper wrecks, so the fact that we can use image editing to boost results is very useful. We also spent some time taking measurements for the site. Last time we took measurements on the individual wrecks, which we were able to use to scale and orientate them. But this time we wanted to record the relationship they had to each other. So we took the GPS point of mooring 221, and then we found the distance and the bearing from the base plate to wreck number 1 and wreck number 2. We then found the distance and the bearing from wreck number 2 to wreck number 3. Then Kevin ran all of these through Site Recorder and managed to get this really nice map of the site with the models and the distances and the bearings between them. We're able to then look at this on Google Earth and see exactly where they sit in the real world. This process is really important in this project because it tells us the context of the wreck, which we think will give us a lot more information than the individual models by itself. Soon we hope to be able to show you a 3-dimensional model of how all of the wrecks relate to each other in 3D space. With the shipwrecks done, the next big focus of this project is going to be working on the soap factory in Rocky Bay, doing the same 3D recording and the same traditional methods that we can use to scale it and orientate it, put it into context and make some sense of it. Lastly, to answer the question a lot of people have been asking, why is the underwater footage so green? That's what the Swan River is like. There are some upsides though to river diving. Sometimes you're able to see a seahorse. Now onto part 2, the McGreef. The McGreef is a boat that now sits 12 meters underwater under its mooring at the Freshwater Bay Yacht Club. Dave found it when he was looking for another boat on his sonar. For more details, check out his Facebook page. We knew from its condition that it hadn't been down for that long, and the registration sticker on the side read 2016, which means it was definitely above water in 2015. We also looked on Google Street View, and we think we can see it still on its mooring. We had a look around it, it was mostly intact and its wheel actually still turned. There was a few snorkeling masks, crates and snorkels, a GPS guide, some screws, sunscreen, all the usual things you would expect to find on a boat. But inside the cabin looked a bit worse for wear. The door and the seat were not where they were meant to be. Most worrying was the black liquid floating on the roof. We think it was diesel because when we surfaced there was a pretty strong diesel smell. We notified the water police and it's likely they'll remove it from the river sometime soon. Hopefully we can track down the reason it went down. Dave also found another boat just off the Claremont Cliffs and hopefully we can inspect that sometime soon. The SCRIMSHAW project is about looking at the cultural heritage of the Swan and Canning rivers, and we hope to investigate these sort of finds. Recent wrecks, shopping trolleys, they can all tell us about the reasons why things end up on the bottom of the river and what they mean to the society at the time. That's it for this week. Check back soon for another update and make sure you check our Sketchfab page. We upload all the models pretty much as they're done. Thank you for watching.